It is time to react to some of your guys' bold predictions for the upcoming NHL season. If you missed it, I uploaded my bold predictions for the 2021-22 season a couple of days ago. If you didn't watch that video yet, I'll either leave a link down below in the description or up in one of the top corners. So be sure to check that video out if you have not already. But now let's not waste any time and get into this because there was a lot of comments on the post. So I picked out a good amount for this video. I think it's around 15. Like I always say, I do wish I could feature them all, but just know I appreciate every single one of you who take the time out of your day to go ahead and leave a comment, and even though they may not all be featured in the video, I do actually read every single one. First up from Tyler Aaron, Jack Eichel sits out the season because the Sabres haven't traded him. This would be pretty insane. Honestly, at this point, I feel like there's a good chance Jack Eichel starts the season with the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, training camps start soon, we're already getting into the rookie camps, the prospect tournaments and stuff like that, and still no Eichel trade. The season is coming up pretty fast, and there really hasn't been any rumors regarding a Jack Eichel trade either over the past couple of weeks. There hasn't been any reports saying the Sabres are talking to this team or the Sabres are close with this team. There hasn't been any of that, so something would have to materialize pretty quickly. Now, as far as Eichel sitting out the season if he's not traded, to me, Jack Eichel doesn't seem like that type of player, the type of player that would do that. I mean, he's under contract. I feel like if he's healthy, he's going to play. Now, the key word I just said there is if he's healthy, right? That's what it all comes down to with Jack Eichel right now. I'm really intrigued to see what happens. I do think that the relationship between Eichel and the Sabres just cannot be repaired at this point, but I don't think it's crazy to believe that we could see him play some more games in a Buffalo Sabres uniform. This next bold prediction comes from Venom, who says a player will score over 60 goals, something that has not been done since Steven Stamkos scored exactly 60 goals back in the 2011-12 season. I actually really like this bold prediction a lot. I think it's definitely something that can happen. Matthews, I feel like, would be the player to do it. If I'm not mistaken, he scored at close to or above a 60 goal pace this past season. Now, that being said, it's definitely going to be harder for him to replicate that scoring pace this season where the divisions are going back to normal, but I still think it's possible. Next up, this bold prediction comes from the Jets Fanatic 27, who says Vegas will not win the Pacific Division. You wouldn't think that picking one team not to win a division would be all that bold of a prediction, but I feel like when it comes to Vegas and the Pacific this season, it definitely is pretty bold. The Golden Knights are just a tier above everybody else in that division, but as we know, the NHL, parity is pretty good, anything can happen. If I had to pick one team in that division to win the division title over Vegas, I think I'd probably go with Edmonton just because, I mean, they have Connor McDavid, they have Leon Draisaitl, they had a good regular season in 2020-21, so I feel like they would have to be the team to do it, if not Vegas. Maybe you could throw Vancouver into that conversation, but I feel like that's a bit more of a long shot. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this conversation though, so leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know which team you think could win the Pacific Division that isn't Vegas. Bold prediction from Yeetus Petus, Laine has a 40+ goal season, but Columbus still doesn't make the playoffs. I really like this one. I'm going to make this prediction with you. I also think Laine is going to have a 40+ goal season. We know Patrik Laine is capable, but he hasn't done it since he was a sophomore and he's coming off of a very, very disappointing season, so I feel like this definitely does qualify as a bold prediction. I just don't think there's any way he has the type of season, again, that he just had in 2020-21. John Tortorella and Patrik Laine, it just wasn't a mix. I mean, that's probably the worst fit for Patrik Laine in the world. Under a new coach, a coach that hopefully embraces the way Patrik Laine plays, getting to have a full training camp and preseason with his new team, I expect Patrik Laine to have a big season. But I also agree that I don't think Columbus makes the playoffs, even if he scores 50 goals. The next bold prediction comes from Notorious Nick, who says Kirby Dach leads the Hawks in points with 80. In the video I made a couple of weeks ago predicting breakout players for the upcoming NHL season, I actually had Kirby Dach in there. I think he's in for a big season. That being said, I just cannot see a scenario where he leads the Hawks in points with Patrick Kane still being Patrick Kane. I think Kane is almost a lock to lead that team in points if he stays healthy, and if it's not Kane, then I think it would probably be DeBrincat in front of Kirby Dach. Now, could Kirby Dach score 80 points like you said? I think it's a possibility, but even if he does, I don't think that would be enough for him to lead the team in points. I'd imagine Patrick Kane's going to finish somewhere between 90 and 100. Bold prediction from Ben Murphy, at the end of of the year, Bergeron does not extend his contract and reaches free agency. So I'm guessing you mean he's going to leave Boston by saying this? I really can't picture Bergeron on any other team. To me, he's a lifetime Bruin. I think he's going to retire with the Boston Bruins, and also I don't think Boston would let him walk in free agency either. I think they'd do anything they can to re-sign him, because if they lost Bergeron next offseason, on top of losing Krejci this offseason, that would leave Charlie Coyle as their first line center, which is definitely not ideal. That would be pretty wild though. I really just can't picture Bergeron on a different team though. Him in any other jersey than a Boston Bruins jersey would just not look right. This next bold prediction comes from Cujo, who says Moritz Seider will have more points than Quinn Hughes. This is a very bold prediction. I think Seider's going to have a great year, but more so on the defensive side of things and just having an overall impact on Detroit's blue line. To the people that think Seider's going to come in and immediately put up 40 to 50 points, I think you're going to be left pretty disappointed. I definitely don't think there's a chance he scores more points than an offensive defenseman like Quinn Hughes, who will probably be in the top 5 in defenseman scoring next season. Moving along now, this bold prediction comes from Kyle Chirpak, who says Connor McDavid will not finish in the top 3 in scoring this year. I mean, I had a lot of people angry at me for making the bold prediction that McDavid will not win the Art Ross this upcoming season, so predicting him not even to finish in the top 3 I think is pretty wild. In order for this to happen, he's got to get injured. Like, there's no way if he stays healthy, if he plays a full 82 game season, he doesn't at least finish in the top 3, and nobody wants to see McDavid injured. I definitely don't. I want to watch him play. He's exciting to watch, and I mean, even if he does get injured, there's a chance he could still finish in the top 3. He had 105 points in 56 games this past season. 105 points in an 82 game season, that still might put you in the top 3 in scoring, which is just crazy to even think about. This next bold prediction comes from Jackie564, who says Andersen bounces back in Carolina and has over a .915 save percentage and under a 2.50 goals against average. This is one that I honestly could see happening. I was very skeptical about the Carolina Hurricanes deciding to go out and get a guy like Freddie Andersen instead of just paying Alex Nedeljkovic and not trading him, but it was more so regarding the health concerns of Freddie Andersen. I think if he is fully healthy going to a team like Carolina, he should be able to put up pretty good numbers. I mean, he's going to have a really good team playing in front of him, a really good defense core, something he really didn't have for the most part in Toronto. Talking about the defense core, that is, not the overall team. With the exception of this past season, Toronto actually was a good defensive team, but Freddie Andersen wasn't healthy basically at all for the entire year. Even when he was playing, I mean, you could tell he wasn't 100%. I think that was a big factor in why his numbers were so bad. So if he can stay healthy in Carolina, I think he should be fine, and playing behind a team like that, I don't think it's crazy to believe that he could achieve those numbers that you said. Continuing on now, this bold prediction comes from Gabriel Seaborn, who says William Eklund makes the Sharks roster and scores 50 plus points. I really don't think this is as far-fetched as some people might think. I'm a big fan of William Eklund. I really wanted the Red Wings to draft him 6th overall, but hey, I'm still happy with Simon Edvinsson. William Eklund is a dynamic player. He had a really good season playing against men in the professional league over in Sweden in 2020-21. I believe he scored above a half point per game pace. I'd love to see Eklund have a great training camp, make the Sharks opening night roster, and have a big impact on the team as a rookie, and the Sharks could use something like this, honestly. With the whole Evander Kane situation and just the current state of the team, how they're not very good, it feels like there's just like a dark cloud hovering over that team, and everyone's sad when they talk about the San Jose Sharks. So I'd love to see this happen. I want it to come true. I want to watch William Eklund in the NHL this upcoming season, and it would be nice to see him maybe come in and breathe some new life into that team. Bold prediction from Mikey Schwartz, Linus Ullmark wins the Vezina trophy. I honestly feel like this is a pretty good dark horse candidate to actually win it. I mean, we've seen the type of numbers Linus Ullmark has put up in Buffalo for the past couple of seasons, so just imagine how good he's going to look playing in net for a team like the Boston Bruins, who are always a good regular season team. They always have a pretty strong defense system. I could definitely see a scenario where, you know, Ullmark wins 30 plus games and has a north of 920 save percentage. If he does that, then I definitely think he could be in contention. This next bold prediction comes from the Icebreaker, who says the Philadelphia Flyers will finally break the pattern by missing the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. So this is basically the opposite of one of my bold predictions from the video I made a couple of days ago. I actually predicted the Flyers to win the Metro Division after missing the playoffs last year. So we're on complete opposite sides when it comes to this one. I don't blame you for making this bold prediction though. I think there's a possibility it could happen. I mean, the Metro is going to be a very tough division from top to bottom. I don't think there's a bad team in that division, especially with New Jersey getting much better. And no streak, no pattern ever lasts forever, right? It has to be broken at some point. Even The Undertaker lost at WrestleMania eventually. Next up, this bold prediction comes from Jaden Luff, who says Caufield won't be nominated for the Calder Trophy. I think this is a pretty good bold prediction. If you were just going to say Caufield won't win the Calder Trophy, I don't think it would have been all that bold, but but since you said he's not even going to be nominated, so he's not even going to be one of the 3 best rookies, I think it's pretty bold. He's 100% the odds-on favorite to win the award at this point, but there's going to be a lot of other really good rookies. He's going to have competition, and usually every season, there's a handful of rookies that kind of come out of nowhere and get their names into Calder Trophy contention, so there's probably some guys we're not even talking about right now that could end up winning the Calder. This next bold prediction was one of the most liked comments on the entire post. It comes from James McKinnon, who says KK scores 70 plus points in the Canes top 6 and becomes completely worth that crazy contract. Definitely a long shot, but I would definitely love to see it happen. I think for sure we're going to see Kotkaniemi have the best season of his career, put up a career high in points. 70 plus, definitely a little bit bold. What I'm most interested to see when it comes to Kotkaniemi in Carolina is, are they going to play him as a center or on the wing? Because Carolina is a team that's actually pretty deep down the middle. You have Sebastian Aho, Jordan Staal, who just had a really good season, Vincent Trocheck, who also just had a really good season. Those are 3 really good centers there, all 3 of them most likely going to be ahead of Kotkaniemi on the depth chart, and I can't imagine the Carolina Hurricanes signed him to that $6.1 million offer sheet to play him on the 4th line, right? So my guess is he actually plays on the wing in the top 6, and hey, if he gets on a line with Aho and Teravainen, or maybe even Vincent Trocheck and Svechnikov, and that line gets hot, I don't think 70 plus points is completely out of the equation. And now for the final bold prediction of the video, this one comes from Otis Flex, who says Darcy Kemper wins the Vezina trophy. Similar to what I said about Linus Ullmark in Buffalo, I think Darcy Kemper in Colorado is a pretty good dark horse candidate. I'm a big Darcy Kemper fan. I think he's often overlooked and underrated because he played for the Arizona Coyotes for such a long time, but he's had some really good seasons on a team that wasn't very good. He had back-to-back seasons putting up a .925 or above save percentage in 2018-19 and 2019-20, and now he's going to Colorado where he's going to be the starter. He's replacing Philip Grubauer. He's going to a team that on paper is the most stacked team in the league. This is going to be the best team Darcy Kemper has ever played for. I'm expecting him to do great, and hey, if Colorado has some historic regular season, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that Kemper could not only be nominated for the Vezina, but end up winning it. So that is going to wrap up today's video reacting to your guys' bold predictions for the upcoming NHL season. Like I said at the start of the video, if you missed my bold predictions video that I put up a couple of days ago, be sure to check the link down below in the description if you want to watch that. And also, if you missed out on the post on the community tab, be sure to leave your bold predictions for the upcoming season down below in the comment section as well.